The Willamette Valley is home to professional basketball in Albany, Oregon, and in year 3, the Jaguars are poised for their biggest season yet. The Willamette Valley Jaguars are your local professional basketball team, competing across the Western United States, representing the Willamette Valley region in the Basketball League, or TBL. The Jaguars roster is composed of players from across the country, grinding to live out their dreams of playing professional basketball. Every episode, we take you behind the scenes on the latest updates on the team, breaking down performances throughout the season, and interviewing coaches, players, and team executives. Tune in for special episodes to hear from the team's community partners, as well as exclusive interviews with city and state officials who support the Jaguars throughout the season. This is Jaguars Beyond the Baseline.
Welcome in to Jags Beyond the Baseline. I'm your host today, Devlin Christensen. Co-hosting with me, the great Isaac Doobie. We got two special stars today, two Jags players, Jarion Henry and Mikah Johnson Jr. How you guys feeling on this fresh off the second weekend of the season?
Right now, it feels good, to protect the house, get the home win for the, fans and stuff. It feels real good to get a dub.
Yeah, I feel like coming off the second week of the season, it feels nice getting that win at home. Like he said, defending our home court, making sure that if anywhere we don't lose at home, but we can make sure that we keep up this pace after this second week to keep winning, even if it isn't at home.
Right.
Gotcha. So, yeah, let's jump right into that home opener. First game at Lynn Benton Community College that the Jags have played there, brand new home arena where they'll be playing every home game for the first time. What was that environment like? What was the, fan turnout like? What was that like as a player?
The fans was pretty good, they were loud. Even when we were down, they never gave up on us, they stuck in with us, and that's what had us come back and, win the game. The fans played a part of it, playing together as a team, that's what got us the W. But fans, for sure, love the fans.
It was a great community turnout. Seeing a lot of the community partnerships and the businesses and the families and a lot of people come out to support us was real nice to watch. The whole game, I felt like they were in it. The crowd was in it. The energy was there. So, for me, it felt like we couldn't lose for them being our first home game. So that way they have something to, always come back and watch, knowing that we're going to fight to the end.
Yeah. So Tri-Cities kind of, gave you guys a bit of a good run, especially in that first half. You guys got out to like a 15-point lead early in that second quarter, and then they went on a run and, erased it. It was 51-51 at half. They were led by Benavidez and Sanor, number 3 and number 8. So what was, making those guys so effective throughout the game that, gave you guys some problems, not enough, though?
I feel like just communication out there pretty much. Once we, start talking a little more on defense, it helped us out, become a little better and, take over and get the lead,
Yeah, they played well, especially giving us problems when we weren't communicating well on defense. I felt like they found the mismatches and found opportunities to try to score on us. But like he said, once we started talking to each other, understanding what we had to do, I felt like we did a good job at containing both of them to the point where they weren't able to end the game on us in what they were doing out there. So
nice. Yeah, so talk about 51-51 at half, and then Sun Devils came right out and started with a 10-0 run, and, that looked like the kind of thing that might, get in the heads of some of the players, but you guys responded really well, and you clawed your way back into it. So kind of what was the discussion like in the huddle right after that post-halftime run?
It felt like the first game, because I think the first game, closer to halftime, we were down by like 10 points or something like that. And I guess because it happened to us before, even in the moment of that game versus the Sun Devils, we kind of realized, all right, we're down, but we still have a chance to win this game and compete. So once we got to the locker room and the coaches talked to us, I felt like we all locked in and did what we had to do.
Yeah. So last game, 32 turnovers. We talked to Brandon and Kevin about that, and they said that that was the biggest problem. They felt like that was really the biggest contributor to the loss. And you guys won the turnover battle by a pretty good margin. You only had 14. You forced 27. I think you had 23 points off turnovers. So what went into that process throughout the week to clean that up for this game?
Literally, just not thinking out there. I felt like the first game, a lot of jitters and. Just trying to click together. We all came from different parts of the world, and this our first time all playing together. So we just had to find a way, and we found the way at our home opener. We were down, up, down. So it just helped us come together a lot more.
We definitely fixed our turnover problem in the second game. To limit ourselves, not turn the ball over as much, because we knew even in the first game, if we didn't turn the ball over as much, we most likely would have won the game. So for the second game to come, we knew that if we wanted any chance, we had to limit those turnovers.
Nice. Yeah, so there was just 10 assists in this game, but the ball was moving around. Just not a lot of those got credited as assists. And Jarion, you were tied for the team lead in assists. You led the team last week with 4. So, being the biggest guy on the team, you seem like more of a traditional power forward, but you're kind of forced in that role where you have to play center. So what does that, playing that center but having that passing ability, what do you feel like that opens up for the rest of the guys?
It just helps to, get my team better, make them better. Everybody, that's the most important thing is just making sure everybody is clicking. And I feel like, yeah, you can score 30, 40, go out there and get yours, but when you're making your teammates better, it brings championships. Then that's just what it is, you can't sugarcoat it at all, But yeah, I'm here to just protect home. I'm here to get W's. Put me out there, I can play everything. Just put me out there. They want me to play the 5, I play the 5. They want me to play power 4, I play power 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. On the bench, clapping, anything, just to get the W. So.
That's great. Mikah, kind of as a guard, a lot of that playmaking ability falls onto you most of the time. And when you have a center, a big like Jarion that can help you out and take some of that relief off, but also create opportunities for you, what is that like as a guard?
I think it's real nice, especially playing with a big like Jarion, because he sees the floor in ways where as a guard, if you just moving off ball and make sure you got motion and all that stuff, he going to make sure that the ball gets to you in the right spots. And I think the first game we played, he threw me a behind-the-back pass going baseline. And a lot of people wouldn't have saw that, but being able to have the skill set that he has, he saw that. So I feel like it's a luxury to play with a player like him.
Appreciate it, bro.
Yeah.
Too, man.
So 5 Jags scored in double figures, but leading the way, Kevin Fletcher had kind of a breakout game, 31 points. It was obviously that first opportunity for any of the Jags fans to see him, but he made a heck of a first impression on the fans there. So what was working for Kevin out there?
I think his jumper was falling. I think that
confidence.
Yeah, the system that we in, it works for a lot of guys. So for him, I think he saw where in the system he was very good at and kind of just kept going with it. Progressively just was doing his thing. I think that he showed in practices day in, day out that he could score the ball, and I think that he put it on display for everybody this second game.
Yeah, big game for Kevin. But I think Brandon Suttles finished with 13 points, but he had a couple of goaltended dunks. Yeah. They weren't the cleanest, but they were some kind of nasty posters. Is that something that you guys see in practice all the time? Is that like the norm for you guys? You expect that nowadays?
Mikah too. He'll catch one too, but yeah.
We'll CB in practice. We've seen him do a lot of stuff, so that's why in games, even in those moments, he's like our energy guy in moments where we know that the crowd wants something nice to happen. B Suttles got you.
Yeah, on a breakaway or tip jam, or you name it, he coming. Right, boy.
Mike, I got something for you. One of the biggest moments, I think, in my time with the Jaguars was your shot to give them the lead in, I think, about 7 minutes left in the fourth quarter. What was going through your mind before that possession, before that moment to hit that big shot? Initially, they thought it was a 3, but it ended up being 2, but still was the go-ahead shot to give you guys the lead.
Yeah, I just was telling myself to stay ready. I think throughout the game, playing the minutes that I have, I still was trying to be as best effective I can be. So in that moment, something came over me, and I felt it that I needed to take that shot so we could take the lead, and it just worked out beautifully.
Yeah, you had a big fourth quarter. You had a lot of a lot of big shots there, but you also had I think 6 fourth quarter rebounds, and a lot of them were pretty impressive. Just considering not to call you undersized, but considering you were going up and getting them over some of the bigger guys on the court. Is that rebounding mentality something you take pride in?
Yeah, when I was in high school, I started varsity as a freshman, and the only reason why they put me out there because I could rebound and play defense. So throughout my years, I always took defensive rebounding and putting that first in terms of how I play out there, and then offense and putting the ball in the hoop kind of comes second for me. So I'm always be down there rebounding with the big guys, going down there because I love doing it.
Sweet. And so as the season's kind of, shaken out, just 2 games in, would have had that third game, got postponed. We'll play that rematch against the Sun Devils a little bit later on. But, as rotations start to shake out and we're seeing the scoring spread around, it was 34 bench points and they had just 16. So what does that kind of say about the depth of this team? And is it an any given night thing, or do you guys have some sort of system where who's going to have a big game?
The team we got right now, we have 12 deep, 10 deep, Paul, and that's just anybody. It could be anybody at that night, at that moment. So we just play together and trust each other. Anybody, it could be anybody time.
Yeah, we got that type team that anybody could go. I think that's the main part of all of us being ready, staying ready, because to have 12, 10 deep that could just go off for any night, I think is very special. And knowing that you have that and we work around that, we got that type of team.
For sure. It's a super deep, super talented team. And so, Jarion, for you specifically, kind of you played the most minutes out of anybody in that last game, and you're talking about how, you'll do whatever coach asks you to, and that's a big role. Obviously, being the biggest guy on the court, you're expected to be a shot blocker, and the team just had 3 blocks in that last game. But I didn't think that was as much that you weren't doing anything, as much that they weren't really attacking you. So, not having the numbers pop up on the stat sheet, but what was your mentality as a shot blocker to intimidate that drive?
I'm a shot blocker. I feel like I'm more of a read the defense. If they're coming in more aggressive, or if I'm there late, I'll try to take the charge. Or, if the big guy's in there, I would just go box him out and let somebody else get the rebound because, that's their force and that's their big guy. So I just try to make sure, they're big or don't score or get rebounds. So, sometimes I'm out of position to get the shot block or something. So trying to, fight with the big guy or something. But other than that, the X factor and stuff like that, it's not going to show up on stats. And it's okay. You go and watch film, you'll see. So I just want the win. That's all that matters to me.
Yeah, so throughout that game, we've talked about a couple of them. There was obviously a bunch of big, momentum swings. They had some tough shots. You guys had some great plays as well. But some moments that really stood out to me was Tavion had that crazy block on the dunk attempt. I think it was to end the third, and then he started the fourth with the drive and slam. And so, being a guy that's been with the Jags since last year and seeming to be one of those leaders, especially throughout the offseason and training camp, what does Tavion bring to the table for you guys?
Yeah, a lot. Energy, his voice, his leadership, everything really. His energy is there if we need that, and just being a good leader out there for sure.
Yeah, like you said, his energy day in, day out. Ever since I came up here over in December, he's been working out with us, training, and making sure that we on the right page and path of what we got going on. And I feel like he's one of our guys that gives us that confidence day in, day out to go out there and produce on the floor.
Again, about Tavion, he's a guy that seems to be in a somewhat of a similar spot to you, Jarion, where you guys are the 2 tallest guys on the team, and he seems like he wants to be a bit more of a 3, and he's ended up playing some 4 and 5 this year. So what is that, What advantages does he bring to you as kind of that fellow guy in the paint, whether it's spreading the floor, a quicker drive, whatever it is?
At practice, we battle each other. So I know on the court I could trust him because I see what he do in practice. He put the work in. He's a hard. Everybody sees it. He's a workhorse, and so just pushing each other at practice and then in the game is just like it's just second science. It's just second nature. We both just click, and
Yeah.
I don't think no team could stay with us. Nah.
I like that mentality.
We all clicking together.
Pivoting a little bit from how that last game went, kind of just we want to learn a little bit more about you guys and what brought you over here to the Jags. You're from Dallas, right?
Yeah, I'm
Texas?
from Dallas. I was born in Dallas and back and forth California, Dallas. So
Okay, so you spent some time on the West Coast.
yeah.
And Mikah, you're from New Jersey, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, how much time before your time with the Jags had you guys spent in the Pacific Northwest? Had you ever been up here in Oregon before, or is this all new to you guys?
This is new. Still being from the West Coast, this was my first time up here. I've been to like Canada and stuff like that, but I haven't been like Washington and Oregon. This is my first time.
Nice.
I used to travel a lot for work. So working with a moving company, and I basically hit a lot of different states in the last few years before coming out here. So, but I think the closest I got to even Oregon, I think was Seattle one time. I think I had a couple deliveries out there. But now being out here, actually being stationed and being in the area, I feel like I really do enjoy it out here.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So, yeah.
For sure.
What's the connection been like so far with the the community out here? You guys are living up in Independence and Monmouth, and doing some work with the Gate and stuff like that with the team. So, what has it been like to come to a new area, a new part of the country that you aren't super familiar with, and develop that relationship with the community?
They embrace us. We go to the grocery store. They're happy to see us. They ask us about our team. We tell them. I met somebody at Y, and this lady, she brought her granddaughter and grandson to the game, and they were just so happy to be there and see it. So just meeting people in public and in the community is just for them to have us come in and just treat us like it's home. It's pretty blessing, pretty a good blessing.
Yeah, facts. I feel like they definitely embraced us, definitely brought us in, made us feel welcome. That not being from home, but giving us a community sense feeling that made us feel like home. I think the community did a good job helping us with that transition to being out here.
Nice.
How was the Rip City Remix game you guys went to last night? That's the first time I heard of the Jaguars going to a G League game. How was that?
It was good.
Yeah.
It was fun to watch.
Yeah, I went to the last game. It was last week, but it was pretty fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's not bad. It's actually a good atmosphere for sure.
Yeah, up there at the Chiles Center, right, in
Yeah,
Portland.
it's a nice stadium.
Yeah,
for sure.
it's where the Pilots play.
Yeah.
Yeah. So both of you guys had some TBL experience before. You were playing in Connecticut, right?
Yeah.
And you played for Kokomo.
Kokomo.
Yeah. So, obviously pretty far from the Pacific Northwest. So, with some TBL experience, Jarion, you played there in 2023, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what for each of you guys, what made you want to come back to the TBL in general, but what was special about the Jags and this opportunity?
I just came back from a trip in China and in Japan this past year, and I had went down to play in Mexico, and I just wanted to keep it going. And I talked to Coach Mary, and Coach Mary was, her and Kaylee, they just it convinced me to come down here, and I love it. It was a great opportunity. They put everything out there for me to come here and win, and I just want to thank them for the opportunity. I want to thank them for, I never thought I would be in Oregon, so I just want to appreciate that and be thankful. Yeah.
For me, last year I was with the Crusaders. The year before that, I tried out for the Crusaders. I didn't make the team. They didn't pick me up. Then the following year, last year, I tried out again, tested my luck, made the team, played the whole season there. And then after that season, I'm pretty sure they didn't want me to come back. I don't think that the team is going to be a team next year or this year. So I knew I had to find some destination to go to. I wanted to come back in the TBL for sure. And my friend Zion Bradley over there, he had hit me like, yo, I think that it could be an opportunity out in Portland for you. And he's talked to the coaches, talked to Coach Mary, talked to Kaylee. They ended up actually liking me, fond of my game and stuff like that. And they invited me to come out here. So I ended up out here.
Nice.
There's a few guys on the team that are from Connecticut or played with the Crusaders. I think it was last year, right?
Yeah.
Between you, Abion, and Zion, right? Are those the three?
Yeah, those three, yeah.
Were you guys all kind of planning like, oh, we maybe go play out in the Willamette Valley, go see what they're doing?
So AB played here
first year.
First year. So and then one of our other friends, Marvin, he played with AB out here too. So there's a few guys that I know that was out here already. And then when this year came and Zion kind of was like, come on, da-da-da-da. And then I think AB was in talks already. So we all, after last year when I was on the Crusaders, we were losing players. So I told Zion and AB we don't have no players to finish our season, come play so we could finish our season. They came, played, only for like 2-3 games. And then once the season was over, we all was kind of figuring it out. And it actually didn't happen till almost the month before we was out here for all of us to have a joint consensus like, okay, we're going out there. But once we made that decision, it kind of felt natural for all of us to say, yeah, we might as well, right? We just played in Connecticut, let's play out in Oregon.
I got you. And so, you talked about traveling for work and stuff, and, you're kind of cross-country for a while there. And so, obviously, there's some familiarity there. But was that, like a weird change for you? Was it an interesting transition going cross country from the East Coast and playing in Connecticut, being from New Jersey, to coming out into Central Oregon?
Definitely. I feel like it was just a more recent change of scenery. Because I feel like I played basketball my whole life. So in AAU, I always traveled to California, Atlanta, just different places across the map. And then even working made me travel more. So as now, I knew that even Connecticut, I still wanted to be a little further from home than Connecticut because that was only like a 2-hour drive from Jersey. So I feel like this kind of was like, okay, now I could go back to being out more, traveling more, and being in a better place, I feel like.
Yeah. Jarion, you talked a little bit about, what made you come up here, but was there ever any thought from you? You talked about being back and forth from Texas and California. It's two pretty warm weather places. So did it take any, special convincing for you to come up north to Oregon?
Nah, I've been in Newfoundland, Canada, and that's the coldest place I've ever been. So if I can survive there, I can survive here. So, yeah, that's the coldest place for sure.
Yeah. Kind of moving forward a little bit, looking at next weekend, doubleheader versus the Great Falls Electric. They won the West last year. Undefeated against the Jags so far in head-to-head program history, but they had a lot of roster turnover. I think last year at this point they were 5-0, and they're just 3-2 so far right now. They do have one player, Dion Lyles, like 7th in the TBL in scoring.
Yeah, I actually played with him and the dude Larry over there. I actually played with them, so Lyles, I know his game for sure.
So you got the scouting report already.
Yeah,
I was going to ask what that was looking like for you guys.
Yeah, that's like my young guy, but he's good for sure.
So what I'm hearing is you're leading film prep this week.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Gotcha. But yeah, so second home weekend. It's going to be a first doubleheader. What's the mentality like going into that one?
Protect home. Keep it going. We want to know right now. We playing a back-to-back, which I know that it's hard to beat a team 3 times in a row. It's hard to beat a team even twice on certain nights. So I think this weekend we'll be more ready to, and like you said, we haven't got a win versus them in program history. So I feel like this weekend will definitely change that.
For sure.
Yeah. They've played some of the same opponents. You guys played Grant County in that season opener. Unfortunate loss. They've played 2 games against Grant County, won one, lost the other. They've also played Four Bears Roar, who you guys haven't seen yet, and the Mesquite Desert Dogs. But all of those games were at home for them, so this will be their first test on the road. What kind of environment did you see last weekend that you think the fans at Lynn Benton can bring for this first away game for the Great Falls?
Just staying locked in with us, not giving up and, You know, just we were down and they were still cheering. That's the love. That's what you call love, and that's what keeps us confident. That's what keeps us going and playing extra defense and diving on the ball for the loose balls. It's just everything. It's just gonna come to place, and we don't want to lose. And so that's just what it is.
Yeah, they definitely. I feel like if the crowd brings that energy that they had the other night, it'd be hard for people to beat us at home. Because like you said, and we down and we got people cheering for us, that's hard to not come over.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the crowd was great. Isaac and I have been at just about every single Jags home game for the last year, and I had never seen it get that loud, especially in the fourth quarter. Like you're talking about, you were down, that we heard the big defense chants. They were banging on the bleachers. And so that environment is kind of, showing that this team seems to be growing, turning a new leaf. And so, Isaac, you've seen a little bit of that. What kind of role do you think the fans kind of brought to that what juice do you think they brought in that last game?
I think it definitely brought like an extra juice. I think like the main thing is probably now that you guys have won, and this was going to be one of my questions today, is like they probably expect you to win a little bit more, and like they want to keep showing up to keep seeing you guys win. And I'm curious, like, what's the feedback been like since you guys won one? Because the Jaguars previously had only won one game in the previous 2 years. Like now that you guys have won one, like is there a little bit? Has the community or the fans changed their perspective at all of man, this team is really good. Want you guys to keep winning. Want to keep showing up to games.
I definitely think that from previous history of our organization, that having a win this early is definitely monumental towards our progression this year. But I think our coaches are doing a good job at kind of not letting us feel as happy, feel as, you know what I'm saying? Because one win is one win, but one win doesn't get you a championship.
Right.
So, I think they're doing a good job at keeping us level-headed to the point where, we could win one game, we could win two, we could win five, but if we feel like the fifth 5 wins and then we're good for the season because we program history, we won't ever go further than that. So they're doing a good job at making sure we're staying humble.
Yeah, Kobe said, job's not finished.
Yeah.
I love it. And so, just going into these games, taking a little bit of what from that first game, still building chemistry, obviously only 2 games in the season. You guys touched on that a little bit. Is there any, one particular thing? Like Brandon and Kevin said that turnovers was the big thing that they wanted to fix for that last game, ended up being a win. You obviously came away with the win, but you can always get better. Is there any one part of the game that you guys have been hammering home this week in practice or individually? What do you guys want to get better at for that next matchup?
So it's defense.
Yeah, attention to details, the small things, that can get us the W, like just the extra screen or the extra pass or, just helping your helper, that's what's going to get us the little things. It's not pretty much, other things. It's just that right there, the little things, paying attention to the details, small details.
Yeah, facts. I feel like the more we get the details, little details going, we'll be a good team getting the basics done. I think picking up our defense tremendously, starting off the game like that, I think that's something we got to work on, because it was a point in the game, even in the set before halftime, even when it was 51-51. Me personally, I felt like it shouldn't have been 51-51 because we were doing too many trading buckets back and forth. I feel like this league, everybody could score. We're professionals. I don't know too many professionals that can't score, but if we lock up on defense and make that a priority, I think that will be very dangerous.
One area I think that allowed the Sun Devils to take a lead and stay in that game, in that last home win on Friday, was rebounding. They got a lot of offensive rebounds in the third and fourth quarter that kind of allowed them to get some extra shots off. Anything you guys have worked on this week or talked about as far as boxing out, rebounding, just being sound and getting boards?
Well, that's every day I practice, so
right.
Yeah, they got us.
It comes down to effort at the end of the day. So
yeah, rebounding is one of the things where it's a skill, but also I think the first part of it, 50% getting there, is effort and trying to make sure your man is boxed out, like he said, and going for the ball. So
yeah, it's a team effort at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Everybody boxes out. We were talking about this on the broadcast a little bit. In that second quarter, when they kind of, were getting away, part of that big advantage seemed to be on that offensive glass where they kept cleaning it up. And so, one person misses their box out, somebody's open to get the rebound. So,
yeah.
I don't have very much else. You got anything else, Isaac?
That's all we got. It's been a pleasure. Appreciate you guys coming on.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for coming
enjoyed
on.
This
Great
episode.
All right, bro.
Good luck against Great Falls, and we appreciate you guys' time.
Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in to this week's edition of Jaguars Beyond the Baseline. If you want to find out more about the Jaguars, you can go to their website at wvjags.com or follow them on their social channels at wvjags or search for Willamette Valley Jaguars online.